Welcome to the Besties with Breasties podcast. Sarah Hall here. I am a certified health and wellness coach, athletic trainer, mom, and breast cancer survivor. I help women overcome their own mind drama to make mind shifts that open up the possibility for their most empowered and energetic life.
And I am Beth Wilmus, author, speaker, and founder of a human investment organization, otherwise known as a nonprofit, called Faith Through Fire. Our mission is to reduce the fear and anxiety that breast cancer patients feel and replace it with hope and a path toward thriving.
This podcast is about our experiences with breast cancer
and life after as young survivors and moms. All right. Hello.
Hello.
Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready. This is a very important topic to me.
I think it's an important topic to everybody.
Well, that's true. Everybody does this.
Everybody does it, but then everybody complains when they don't get it.
That's true.
We're talking about sleep, people.
Yep.
Are you surprised at how important sleep is related to health?
No, not really.
I mean, I felt surprised by, because I used to, when I was younger, I'd always hear my parents complain about not getting good sleep, which seemed unfathomable when I was younger because...
You're like, I sleep great.
Sleep great, sleep anywhere. But, you know, and it actually took dealing with my sister who had a chronic illness for a really long time. And the biggest side effect that she had from it was that she could not sleep. Mm-hmm. And she was literally feeling like she was going insane.
Yeah.
The amount of sleep that you need to function properly and to be healthy is pretty freaking important.
It does feel like it's a little backwards because it feels like when you have surgery, you can't sleep. When you have an illness, you can't sleep. When you're sick, you can't sleep. When it's like the one thing that you feel like you need so badly.
Well, I mean, that's what I tried to do. I tried to sleep as much as possible when I was, sick because it's like,
I tried to sleep, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
The anxiety, like there's just so much that had me thinking and awake and blah.
So do you think most of our sleep problems today revolve around hormones or?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I do.
Breast cancer survivors and they suck all of our hormones out of our body and now we're like not sleeping.
And on top of it, I mean, I know that my biggest issues happened when I was in survivorship, and we just know that is a really stressful time because you're thinking about what if this comes back, and I just went through all of this, and I had the safety net of my doctor seeing me every other week, and now I'm not going to see them for 6 months, and what?
So you think anxiety mixed with hormones?
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, anxiety,
stress
is
anxiety, stress, and hormones, people.
Yeah.
The culprit.
Right. All right, we're done.
Yeah. We figured it out.
We figured it out. Go fix those and then you'll be okay.
I think what's interesting about today's episode is we have lots of experts that we kind of follow regarding sleep, and they all have a different angle on sleep. And so we're going to talk about three in particular. We're going to talk about Matthew Walker's work, Dr. Huberman's work, and Dr. Mark Hyman's work, who you follow religiously.
Yes.
But before we do that, let's hear from our first sponsor. Ant's Bra Shop features skilled mastectomy fitters ready to assist you in selecting the perfect breast forms, bras, swimsuits, and camisoles for your post-surgery needs. They have 3 locations in the St. Louis area, Chesterfield and Winsville, Missouri, across the river in O'Fallon, Illinois, and a 4th location south on I-55 in Cape Girardeau. Visit Ant's Bra Shop at www.brashop.com to learn more.
All right, we are back. So
are you familiar with Matthew Walker?
I'm not. Yeah, you read his book, am I right?
Well, so no. So the way I got introduced to him is that I subscribe to that Masterclass app where they have like the experts on different topics, and you can watch it.
Yep.
All different kinds of people and different topics. And he was one on sleep. And that's what kind of drew me into his work. He did write a book called Why We Sleep, though. And he basically emphasizes that sleep is essential for cognitive function, which how many times do women complain about their cognitive function?
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Cognitive function, emotional regulation. How many times are women complaining about their emotions and lack thereof and overall health? So he kind of talks about how lack of sleep is linked to increased risk of chronic diseases, including cancer. And he notes that sleep deprivation can disrupt the immune system.
Yes.
And hormone balance, which is, critical for regulating cell growth. So
I always thought it was interesting, younger years, I'd go out for a crazy night on the town, and when I'd wake up, I'd always crave pizza. And the more I was digging into some research on the sleep, it talked about how leptin and ghrelin, which is like your hunger hormones, when you have less sleep, you want to eat more.
Yeah, that's why they tell you if you want to lose weight, work on your sleep.
Work on your sleep. Yeah. Yeah, that was another, when I had listened to this whole podcast about, or maybe I took a mini course on balancing your hormones. But one of the things they said is if you're going to sacrifice sleep for working out, prioritize your sleep. Don't think because the only time to work out is 4 o'clock in the morning, but you can't go to bed till 10, that it would be better for you to get the sleep than it would be for you to work out in the morning.
I always think
interesting.
You ever follow, like, you ever see Marky Mark's posts?
Oh, wait.
Mark Wahlberg.
No, but yes, I know Marky Mark.
Okay, so Mark Wahlberg is like, he's that 4 a.m. club, right? And he wakes up at 4 a.m. and eats a smorgasbord of protein. I mean, it like literally looks like a 5-course meal. And then I don't think he eats the rest of the day. But anyway, he prides himself on it, right? Getting up at 4 a.m. and then putting in the hard work. And all I keep thinking when I see him at 4 a.m. sitting at his kitchen table is how tired he looks.
Oh.
And I'm like, I mean, he does look good. Physically, he looks good. But he looks exhausted. And I'm like, dude, go to sleep. Go to bed,
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to think.
This is the person who got up at 3 o'clock this morning.
Not intentionally.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
And that goes back to
you didn't eat a buffet.
No, I didn't wake up and eat an entire, beef platter like Marky Mark does. Well, what I think is interesting too is that studies indicate people who work night shifts or have chronic sleep deprivation have a higher incidences of cancer, breast and prostate.
Yeah.
So
growing up, did you have that mantra like, oh, you can sleep when you're dead?
Yeah.
Same. I
Yeah.
always thought it would be way more fun. I got more stuff done and it was...
Well, there's societal pressure, right? To do more in the day and to figure out how to be and do it all. And that's actually one of the things that I really enjoyed when I went through cancer was I got to...
Take a step back.
Just truly rest.
Yeah.
Now, it was hard for me to sleep when I was doing like the Red Devil stuff.
Yeah.
That was not great. But otherwise, I was able to rest for the first time in my life, it felt like.
Yeah.
So there's something to that.
I remember going in, I think it was for my second surgery when I was not so anxious about the surgery, thinking, oh, I also had a newborn at home, but going, oh, this is going to be such a good sleep.
When
when I was being wheeled into surgery.
Oh, yeah. Right. Except for it never feels like that.
Well, you don't wake up feeling great.
You don't wake up feeling rested.
No.
I freak out.
Yeah. I was tired.
Nurses are always restraining me.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Like when I wake up, there's an actual term for it.
Yeah.
But like I thrash around. Yeah. I'm combative.
Yeah.
I'm like half out of it. They actually say that that's a very traumatic experience for some people.
Oh.
So I've been traumatized quite a bit.
Yeah, clearly.
Anesthesia.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Huberman, because you know Huberman.
Yes.
You know his work.
His podcasts are very long.
They are? How long are they?
Sometimes up to 2 hours.
Ew. That's too long. I mean, I feel like 30 minutes is like, 2 hours is long. Is he just rambling?
No, he just really, so he is a lecturer, and I think he teaches doctors and he teaches those in the scientific fields about aspects of the human body. So he really gets into the nitty gritty with his guests. Like if you're really interested in something, listen to his interviews with people because he goes deep. But yeah, I like Huberman.
I mean, he's kind of big on the whole neuroscience of sleep and the impact on brain health. And he talks about maintaining a regular circadian rhythm, which for those listening, explain the circadian rhythm thing, because that sounds kind of hoo-hooey to a lot of people.
I know it does. So actually, okay, so each cycle, there is REM sleep and then NREM sleep, which basically means rapid eye movement and then non-rapid eye movement. So there's nothing crazy about that. And
is that circadian rhythm? Is that the same thing?
Yeah. Oh. So he talks about, actually, I listened to his interview he did, I think actually with Matthew Walker. And he even talks about why your eyes move side to side too. Because if you look, it's always side to side. It's never up and down.
Oh, that would be so
crazy.
Yeah,
so like very, very neurological. It's and we don't have control over that. It's just happening. So the REM sleep is known as your dream phase. And then each cycle lasts about 90 minutes and is repeated 4 to 6 times during a 7 to 8 hour sleep. So yeah, those are your
I always
sleep cycles.
I don't like sleeping in my Fitbit, but it will give me a sleep report if I do, right?
Yeah.
So if I haven't been sleeping well, or I just want to kind of check and see, I've been trying to improve my sleep, which you will drive yourself mad if you do that. I tend to be very consistent in my data.
Yeah.
So like when you're trying to move the needle, it can be a bit frustrating.
Yeah.
But it surprises me how little time you spend in each cycle.
Yeah. Well, there's so many variables that you can change.
Yeah.
Are you saying you're frustrated whenever you're trying to get better sleep?
I mean, they'll say like I'm average at deep sleep, and I'm, I tend to just be very average
I look at life like an experiment. You know this about me.
Yeah.
And when it comes to sleep, there are just so many variables that you can adjust when it comes to the quality of sleep that you're getting. And it has a lot to do with, and we'll get into this in Mark Hyman's part, but nutrition is one part of it. So depending on how close to sleep you eat, what you eat close to sleep, how much you drink close to sleep, the settings in which you're sleeping, is it cold, is it hot, the blankets that you're sleeping on, like the clothing that you're wearing. I mean, there's so many things that the way that you're breathing. So one of our next episodes will be about breath. So like whether you're a nose breather, mouth breather, there's so many little variables that will impact those
things.
Sleep analysis.
Yeah. Well, you're right. And I think you have to almost take a very scientific approach to trying different things and seeing if you can move the needle on it, because otherwise it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Also, what you do before bed.
Well,
this is one thing I'm almost addicted to it now. I know watching TV and screens during bed. First, I moved my phone across the room because I'm a late night scroller. Not anymore. Was a late night scroller. I knew I wanted to change that. And I will not get out of bed once I'm in it to go get that. But my book was right next to me. So I stopped watching my screen before bed. We stopped watching movies before bed. And now I read every night before bed. And reading puts me to sleep.
Makes you so sleepy.
Yeah. So, and I will say my sleep has gotten so much better. And I crave wanting to do it because in the middle of a story, or if you're reading a book that you really enjoy, like you can't wait to get into bed to go do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I've been trying to convince Gary to put our phones outside the bedroom.
Yes.
Set the alarm, but put it on the chair outside the bedroom.
Yeah.
And he's not committed to it. I've done that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think we're going to sleep. Because I've noticed that when my phone's not in the room, I sleep better.
Yeah.
I don't know what
for sure. Yeah.
One thing that I think, going back to Walker's findings, and I think all of the experts say this, is that your brain is detoxing when you sleep.
Yes. Yeah.
So when we talk about cognitive function and just the need for repair, that all happens while you sleep.
Yeah, your organs shut down, your brain cleans up. I mean, there's all kinds of research about the amyloid plaques that your brain cleans up so that you aren't going down the Alzheimer's path.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much that happens. And if you don't give yourself that quality sleep, then your brain never gets there.
And then you're dealing with anxiety and depression. Yeah. How many people, I do question, people who deal with anxiety and depression, I know a lot of people that fall into that bucket. I mean, it's pretty prevalent. Is sleep even something that's talked about with them?
I mean,
my guess is no.
Yeah.
How often do you hear a doctor being like, tell me about your sleep?
This is a chicken before the egg, because did they have problems sleeping that led to depression, or did the depression now stop them from sleeping?
Yeah. So it all originates with sleep.
Yeah. I mean, good.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, are we having these conversations? Yeah. I don't think I've ever been asked in my life, tell me about your sleep life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Your sleep life.
Tell me how you prepare for bed. What time do you go to sleep? Are you watching screens before you go to bed? What's your level of anxiety?
Yeah.
Are you waking up in the middle of the night? Is your brain roaming? Like, what's going on? Nobody asks.
And then not even that, but I mean, if you could just get a couple tools for those things, whatever you find out your symptom is, I'm a middle of the night waker. Okay, well,
we don't do enough self-assessment.
No.
We will say something very general like, I haven't been sleeping great, or I notice I sleep better in the winter, or whatever. But we don't ever take the time to figure out what's really driving that. Yeah. And then to your point, are we really kind of experimenting with what helps us get better sleep?
Yeah. I mean, you have to be your own student.
So let's talk about sleep and immune function, because I mean, that's kind of, sleep's essential for identifying and eliminating cancerous cells. I think it's like so interesting that cancerous cells by themselves floating around your body is not dangerous. It's when they form tumors and metastatic, right, that it becomes a real issue. You need sleep to mop up those damaged cells.
Yeah. Yeah. It's when you sleep. It's why when you wake up in the morning, sometimes you feel skinnier, sometimes you feel lighter. It's because at night your body is taking care of all that inflammation and trying to clean it out. And you should pee a lot in the morning because that's your body's detox system. So yeah.
I just think that's so interesting. They have said that lack of sleep can impair this process and increasing the likelihood of cancer progression.
Yeah.
And again,
No one's talking to us about sleep.
Nobody's talking to us about sleep.
At your oncology appointment, they didn't say, we really recommend you getting...
How crazy would it be if survivorship clinics, like when you go in, instead of like any symptoms, no, let me feel your boobs, okay, you're good to go, come back in another year. What if it's like, hey, let's talk about sleep. Let's talk about your anxiety or your depression or your exercise.
Yeah.
That's what survivorship clinics should be doing.
Yeah.
Giving us tools, giving us information, giving us statistics that motivate us to pursue the answers to this.
Yeah.
I do think it's really interesting that Huberman suggests using morning sunlight exposure, which we kind of know that sunlight's good for us, although it's been vilified quite a bit.
So there is all kinds he talks about this. There's all kinds of data about, especially if you're the type to sort of turn to melatonin. Watching the sun rise in the morning and watching the sun set at night is your body's natural, kickstarts your body's natural melatonin. And if you feel like you are one of those shift workers who has a problem with that, sometimes just getting outside in the morning and seeing the sun come up and then watching the sun go down at night, which I know is not always the easiest thing to do, but it really helps.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why we feel tired at 5 o'clock in the middle of the winter, because the sun went down and we were sort of watching it.
Yeah, that's true. I think there is a difference. I bought this alarm clock that glows like the sun, and it slowly it's supposed to mimic sunrise and sunset. It all sorts of screwed up my sleep cycle.
Oh, no.
I found it really the opposite of what I was trying to do. I was waking up in the middle of the night. It was like not good sleep.
Yeah.
I was having all sorts of problems. I think there's probably some sort of distinction between natural versus artificial.
For sure.
Because the artificial did not work for me.
Yeah.
I was not a fan. I got rid of that thing so fast. Goodwill, I was like, take this back. What about blue light in the evening? Have you invested in any of those blue light glasses yet?
Yeah. I have like 3 pairs.
You do?
Yeah. And my kids have some too.
They're not expensive, right?
No. You could get them at Costco. You could buy them on Amazon, and you can get kids packs for $15.
So what? You just wear them when you're watching TV or looking at your computer screen in the evening specifically?
I will wear them if I'm just going to do a long computer work session. Yeah.
And what does that do?
I mean, it's supposed to block some of the stimulation, like staring at a blue light or a screen for a long time is just not good. I don't know the science behind it. I just know it's not good.
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
There's enough people on TikTok that's telling us not to do it. So therefore we must not do it. That's the world we live in now.
No, Huberman says don't do it.
Oh, okay. Well, if Huberman says it, maybe we can do it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Dr. Mark Hyman, because you really enjoy him.
Yes. He discusses the connection between sleep, nutrition, and cancer risks, emphasizing a balanced diet to support healthy sleep. So this is kind of what I alluded to earlier, is when you notice how you eat in the evening or even throughout the day is going to impact how you feel at night. Because if you eat a big sugar load right before you go to bed, like some people like to end dinner with ice cream, your insulin levels sort of crash, and then you find yourself waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning like starving.
Yeah, and you get fat.
Well, that too.
I mean, again,
don't eat ice cream before bed.
I mean, I know what women are thinking right now. All they care about right now is not getting that menopause weight off.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
But the ways to healthy, I think some people hear that and they're, I'll never have ice cream after dinner. Yeah, you can. Just go for like a 10-minute walk after dinner.
Yeah.
Because then
utilize that sugar.
You're going to impact that insulin spike.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all about don't give up the things that bring you joy.
Plus,
but
you're walking with the sun going down. It's like a double whammy.
There you go.
I like afternoon walks.
Yeah.
With the sun going down.
The thing that's interesting, and Hyman notes that sleep-deprived individuals may consume 300 more calories per day.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
When you feel sluggish and just bleh,
yeah,
there is something to that. It's like you want more junk.
Right.
I don't know why that is, but it's true.
Yeah.
Before we kind of talk about the consequences of poor sleep, you want to do Boobs in the News?
Yes.
Boobs in the News is a fun segment where we read funny tweets by real people or ridiculous news stories.
Boobs in the News, Boobs in the News, Boobs in the News.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, this sort of feels funny to me for a couple of reasons, and I'll explain why. So a man faces charges after he called 911 on someone who lit a scented candle.
Okay, he better have a severe allergy to scents.
No, that's it. He just called because he somebody lit it and he was worried about the safety of everybody. So the reason why I find this funny is that I sort of hear the stories all the time from Eric about the people who call 911 for the most bogus reasons. But I don't wonder if this man,
mentally
like
ill.
me, oh yeah, for sure. They ended up arresting him because he called for a bogus reason. And apparently that's a felony wherever he lives.
Great.
A misdemeanor, they said. But also,
Well, that's a lot different than a felony.
I hate scented candles with a passion that I sort of empathize with.
You don't like scented candles because you know they're nothing but pumping hormone or chemicals into the air.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Airwick, all the Febreze stuff when you show people.
Plugins.
Yes, the plugins and I used to be a huge fan of the fall winter candles.
Same.
You know, my house would smell like pumpkin spice and it made me feel so happy.
Yeah.
Now, once you investigate what's in the candle, you can't go back.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. I actually know a woman who is severely allergic to fragrances and scents. And so, like, it makes her physically ill to be around it.
He was. Although when you look at him,
That's why I was going to say, like, I might empathize if he had a medical condition. Otherwise, you're just a jerk.
Yeah.
You're just a jerk. That guy's a super boob.
Maybe they lived in an apartment and he was going to have to smell it.
I mean, did they not give any context around the call?
No, they just said that somebody lit a candle, an indoor scented candle, and he didn't like it and he called 911.
And this is what's wrong with society.
Yeah.
Wah, burger.
Yeah.
You're a boob, dude.
Although I'm glad that they're making that a misdemeanor now.
You said a felony earlier.
I know. I spoke wrong. It's a misdemeanor.
I was like, and then I said good. You're like, that's a felony where he's from. I'm like, good. Crack the whip.
Yeah, no
Crack the
kidding.
whip
He's
on
going to jail forever. What put you in here? Oh, I called 911 on a candle.
Oh my god.
He's going to get beat up in prison.
Yes, he is. He's not going to make it. There's your boobs.
Bibs in the news. Bibs in the news. Bibs in the news.
All right, let's talk about the consequences of poor sleep. I kind of talked about that with my sister's poor health. Gosh, it affects attention, your decision making. But where we really saw it with her was her emotional regulation.
Yeah.
Homegirl was crabby.
Yeah.
Homegirl was crabby. It took like nothing. When she had no sleep under her belt, it took nothing for her to go off.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this and you're prone to outbursts, I mean, it's a lot of women.
Yes.
It's a lot of women who can't control their emotions.
Yeah.
Actually, it happened to me the other day. I mean, I'm not immune from it. And I kind of wonder now that I'm talking about it, is it related to the fact that I haven't been getting good sleep? My oldest, who likes to press every button, was pressing buttons on purpose. And then my middle made the mistake of saying something, and I lost my temper with her. And I was like...
She's like, Mom, I was just trying to stop him from pressing buttons that I knew he was going to anger you.
She wasn't even getting involved in my whole thing with him. It was just like she had the audacity to speak next. And I was all amped up. My cortisol was all amped up and I lost it on her. And I just think like that emotional regulation piece, that's how it manifests.
Yeah.
You know, my sister, when she was overtired, everything bothered her.
Yeah.
Everything was upsetting her.
You get angry quickly, you cry quickly.
Yeah. So if you're that person, start looking at your sleep and see if it's related.
Yeah. So Walker's research actually shows that being awake for 17 to 19 hours can impair your cognitive performance, similarly to a blood alcohol level of 0.05.
I'm always
like you're drunk.
I was just going to say, what's the drunk level?
0.08 is legally intoxicated in
Okay,
California.
so you're tipsy.
Yeah, you're tipsy.
You're tipsy. So basically being awake 17 to 19 hours is similar to being tipsy when you're drinking.
Right. Yes.
I mean, that almost makes it sound like it's pleasant, but I bet it is not.
Well, no.
Uninhibited's like...
Can you imagine being tipsy and your boyfriend just broke up with you? That's like sad.
I just envision myself, I'm a blunt person anyway.
Yeah.
The bluntness would probably get real extreme.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd be Ben pushing buttons.
I'd be pushing all sorts of buttons. Physical health risks. So cognitive impairment's a big one. Physical, I mean, we've talked about chronic illnesses, cancer, heart disease.
Yep.
I mean, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Like I said, Walker's talking about how sleep is vital for detoxing, which prevents cancer.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's the whole anxiety, depression thing that we can't get away from.
Yeah. I mean, really, sleep is important. I feel like we're circling the drain.
We are circling the drain. Just get some sleep, people.
Yeah.
And don't always be so inclined to try to solve it with a pill. Right?
Okay. So if you notice that you aren't getting good sleep, what can you do?
I mean, this is your jam. You're the one that kind of threw out a bunch of stuff. Is consistency king?
Yes, I think so.
You know,
And
like
that doesn't mean that you're never going to go out for a late night. Oh, here's story time. I went out, had a concert last week, and I didn't get home till midnight. And the next morning, my husband and I both looked at each other like, we didn't drink. I don't drink. And we both thought we had drank the night before. That's how sort of lethargic
Groggy.
and hungover we felt from one night where we normally go to bed at 9 or 10, and we stayed out till midnight.
Just an extra 2 hours.
Just an extra 2 hours. And even
something.
at the concert, we sort of looked at each other and had a moment where we go,
We're like, should we just
should
go
we
home?
just go home? Yeah. And it was cold and we were tired. Yes. So really consistency is king. That also doesn't mean that you're not going to be out late some nights, but just on a normal basis. Find a time that works for you.
Do you have like a calming bedtime ritual?
No, I mean, I brush my teeth and wash my face, brush my hair, and then I read.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what I do.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like super special. You just have to know.
I go up to my bed. So Sarah doesn't have a TV in her bedroom. She's very anti-TV in the bedroom for various reasons, which I applaud. I think it's smart. I regret putting a TV in my bedroom, but now I will never ever get rid of it. But I go up to bed at 8:30 with the intent to stay up from 8:30 to 9:30. And I get into bed, and I probably shouldn't do this, but usually I have the news on in the background.
Oh.
While I read my book.
Talk about stimulating.
While the kids are coming in and out
Stop.
and getting, ready for their bedtime.
All right, let's talk about why your sleep is bad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to really think about, I don't give a lot of thought to, because that's just what happens.
Yeah. Why don't you put on calming YouTube music or something? And then that way you're not turning the TV off. You're just not putting on something that's potentially fear or anger inducing while you're also reading a book that you enjoy while also being talked to by your kids.
Well, and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, okay, well, recently I've been kind of putting my book outside, or my phone outside the bedroom, but I usually also I don't do that until right before I go to bed. So then I have my phone sitting there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things competing for my attention. So there's a lot of room for improvement on my part.
I'm a minimalist with my attention.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
okay, so making the environment, I think we've all probably heard of the cool, dark bedroom, shutting out all your lights, even down to, if you have a TV in your bedroom, sometimes there's a little red light on it. Just put a little black tape over it.
I hate those kind of lights.
Yeah.
I can't take it. That's why I sleep with a sleep mask on.
Yeah, get rid of all of it. Yeah, or use a sleep mask.
My son's like real anal about that too. He likes, and I did this to my kids real early. When they were babies, they slept in complete darkness. There were no night lights. There were no cracked doors. There were no lights for the boogeyman. It was like they learned how to sleep in complete and utter darkness. And but now, if they have anything else, they have trouble sleeping.
Yeah.
So my son will literally put a blanket under the door because he hates even...
Well, he's going to be super safe in a fire.
Yeah, exactly.
So reducing your blue light exposure.
Being cold
is huge.
Don't you think that's huge?
Well, it's huge because your body naturally drops its temperature at night. So if you're in a hot environment, then you're going to either find yourself sweating under the covers or, you want to feel that kind of cozy.
What do you sleep at?
Well, right now I like the windows open and it's 50 outside. So
okay.
Whatever my bedroom gets to, probably somewhere around the 60s. Yeah.
I mean, I bet you're dipping down to 45, 50 at night.
Yeah, I like it cool.
Yeah, I like it cold too. If we have the AC on, because we have a 2-story, we keep the AC on 68 because that probably makes it about 70 upstairs.
Yeah. And
it's comfortable, but I do like it a little brisk.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you just sleep better.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
You're saying blue light, just limit that exposure.
Yep. And then Hyman's nutritional tips just to help promote sleep, just getting magnesium in your diet. So there's a really great supplement out there called, we're not getting paid for this, but Natural Calm. So if you do struggle with sleep, Natural Calm is a really good little drink mix that you put in hot water and you sip it before bed.
Does it taste good?
Because they have raspberry, lemon. They got all kinds of different. I use it a lot whenever I was pregnant because I would get cramps in my legs. But I will say it will make you go poop if you do a lot. So you want to ramp up your usage of it.
Well, yeah, because it has magnesium in it. I just pop the magnesium glycinate. I just do 2 of those. It sits at my bedside table. And I mean, it takes no time before I start feeling really calm.
Yeah. Yeah, or tryptophan, so anything like turkey before bed.
Nom, 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 nom. I'm gonna eat some turkey before bed.
You just keep your turkey in a little mini fridge right next to you.
It's probably so processed, there's probably no tryptophan left in it.
And then avoid heavy meals before bedtime. You really, I find my sweet spot to be eating about 5:30 or 6.
How hard is it, though, to not snack?
It is really, well, it's not. I don't find it hard to not snack. I think it's hard to get my dinner done by 5:30 because typically, I'll shut off work about 4:30, and then that means I immediately have to make dinner. And if we've got anything going on, it's got to be a quick dinner, or that's.
But
that's where the whole overscheduling thing it gets difficult. So
yeah, we try to eat by 5:30. That means we're done with dinner by 6:15.
Yeah.
That means from 6:15 to 9:30, I have to avoid the pantry.
Oh yeah, I don't snack here.
You're not an evening snacker?
No, I'm not an evening snacker. I would also say if you're struggling with that, go brush your teeth right after dinner, because
that will not stop me.
Because then you're done. Oh, see, I don't know why I hate brushing my teeth, but I'm just once my teeth are brushed, I'm never going to eat again.
You have a hang up on dental care. You don't like flossing. You don't like brushing your teeth.
I don't. I do not. Yeah,
so
but once
funny.
my teeth are brushed, I'm not brushing them
out
again.
of all the habits that you have a problem with, it's the one that's most foundational to people. It's making sure your teeth aren't moldy.
Hey, I have good teeth, but
you do. All right. Well, before we kind of close out the episode, let's hear from our second sponsor.
Thrivent is a proud sponsor of Faith Through Fire. Thrivent believes money is a tool and not a goal. The Gateway Financial Group with Thrivent is local to the St. Louis area and can work with you to create a financial strategy that reflects your priorities and helps you protect the things that matter to you, like family and giving back. Please call 314-783-4214 to schedule a free consultation with one of Thrivent's Gateway Financial Advisors. All right, we are back. So obviously sleep is important. I don't think that there's anybody who would argue with that, especially Dr. Humerman, Walker, or Hyman. So
you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to monitor my sleep habits for this week and just see what I identify. How do I feel? What am I doing leading up to the moment?
Yeah.
What kind of stressful triggers are happening?
Yeah.
I might go buy myself some blue light glasses.
That'd be a great investment.
Yeah. All right. I'll report back. You guys report back too. Let us know what you do.
Yeah. All right. Until next time, guys.
See ya. Thank you for being a listener of the Besties with Breasties podcast. If this podcast had a positive impact on your journey, leave us a review or consider becoming a supporter. You can donate with the link in the show notes or at faiththroughfire.org. This episode was hosted by Sarah Hall and Beth Wilmus, audio and production edits by Innovative Frequencies.